Hello everybody, it's me. Welcome back to the video. Now, in this video, I am going to be taking a look at Abyssent. Now, I'm pretty excited to try this out today because I recently changed to get a misprint 6-star Bright Lights Abyssent, which I actually managed to get like really fast. So I was actually really happy with this. Now, I'm going to be running health and attack today. I really don't know what else this thing is going to use. I thought about it for a bit, and health just really seemed like the best. It just seemed like the best thing for me to use, mostly because I just want to be able to take as many attacks as I physically can. I was originally running magic defense, but I think the health is just better because you have 93 health, so you're going to be able to do pretty good. I was also thinking about speed. You're already fairly speedy, so you're good to go on there. Now, I'm going to be using crayons so I can be as bulky as I can because we have no real form of recovery, yet our typing and our ability makes us really defensive, giving us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, technically 8 resistances, 2 of which are immunities, being Spirit and Dark if you are running Bright Lights. If you're running Holy Water, you have 7 resistances, and 1 of them being an immunity, which is Spirit, and then you have 4 weaknesses, which is Dark, Poison, Spark, and Plant. If you're running Bright Lights, you are completely immune to Dark type attacks. So basically, we fully wall things like, let me think of something off the top of my head. No, Incentilis, duh. This thing fully walls Incentilis, which is really nice, and also our use crayons really helps us with our longevity. And we're going to be Flashing Strike, Icy Bite, Rip Current, and Rust. You might be wondering why we're using Rust. I want to be able to hit metal types a little bit harder. Things like Swap Dar, stuff like that would switch in against our like Icy Bite. Then we can just hit it with a Rust. Icy Bite's also there so we can hit plant types that are trying to just stop us from existing, which really helps versus the Springling matchup where you really need to hit a move, you know? Now, here I'm using Doodle just so I can have some attack and defense, Swag Juice so I'm able to have some HP, some attack, and some coolness too. And Decorative Katana is there for some attack and speed. Now, I think you could probably change this out. I was originally going Scrapped Cardboard, but I didn't really want to lose out on HP just because I wanted to have 1 more point of speed, you know? So that's just me. But anyway, I'm excited. Hopefully you guys are as well. I'm also going to be trying something new out today. So hope you guys are excited. Let's hop into the very first battle. Okay, and here we go into the first battle. Now, this one looks pretty interesting because there's a Wolf Freeze, and I'm a little afraid of what it's going to be able to do because if it gets going, it's over. Abyssent doesn't seem very good here. Really only worth switching against Bun Swirl, which we just have Skideen to do that. I don't really see it being used, but it could do some good work and catch Junipero off guard with an Icy Bite, so we could totally do that. Looks like he led off with Wolf Freeze by the looks of it, so let's get off with Voltitude. It definitely looks like he led off with it, so yep, there it is. Okay, now I'm gonna go for here straight up a Shockwave because I want to kill this thing instantly because this thing is terrifying and is one of the best Doodles in the entire game. All right, down goes Wolf Freeze. Wolf Freeze is now dead, which is really good for me. All right, now we're gonna be able to get a hit and run with whatever he sends in, which he sends in his own Voltitude. What we're gonna do here is go for, I'll go for a hit and run. I'm gonna go first, and he'll probably go for his own hit and run, but that's a lot of chip on his Voltitude, which is really good. A safe option is definitely going into Lumaline, which does check this thing pretty well. He goes for the Shockwave, surprisingly, whenever I have Conductor, which is kind of an interesting play on his part, but that's okay. I'm gonna end up going for my Glow Up here. He's gonna hit and run though. Oh, he's ambush. Interesting play. I've seen a lot of them running ambush, and it's so strange why they're using ambush. Because, like, what's the point of using ambush? I mean, you'd want Taser. I mean, I was thinking about using it because it helps versus the Lumaline matchup. As you can see, I took a lot of chip and I didn't really want to take any chip, so that's good. Okay, and he sends in Bun Swirl, which we can just Aurora Flash for that, and we should outspeed it. Although this thing is fairly quick, we could get outsped here if we're not careful. There's really no reason not to go for an Aurora Flash here because it's just gonna, it might OHKO this because of our Light Taffy and our Aurora Flash. Yep, it does end up going down, which is really nice. All right, Abyssent could be able to hit that Junipero. don't know why he hasn't gone Junipero yet. Junipero does pretty much completely wall me. Which is kind of hilarious why he hasn't gone into it yet. Goes into Glubby. Okay, I'm just gonna go for an Aurora Flash. Then we're actually gonna be able to go into Abyssent after this and go for our Flashing Strike, which is gonna be able to kill this with our +3. We're not killing the Glubby here even with +3. We need like +5 to even come close to it. I am just gonna die. I'm just gonna die. I don't care. I want to be able to send an Abyssent. So I'm just gonna Crystal Wall to support Abyssent versus Junipero. If it is Slash and Burn, then that would help us live 1 attack. And he's gonna switch into Junipero. Beautiful. Alright, buddy. Just I'm gonna Gem Blast it here. Actually, I can Aurora Flash if it's not gonna kill. I'll just Aurora Flash to get it down to half. Nice. Plant Sap. Now, really, we gotta hope that Abyssent outspeeds, which Abyssent has 80 base speed. Whereas, let me go see. Junipero has 85. Okay, so it would kind of be up to me going for... Well, my Crystal Wall's up, but he's Plant Sap. And I don't think it's a very worthwhile play to make at all. I'll just go into Waffles, kill this with a hit and run, then go into Abyssent and get the clean. So that's going to be what we're going to do. Also, tomorrow is I Eat Your Face's weekly, which I'm actually participating in, which I'm pretty excited for. I really want to see how far I could get. I feel like I could do really good, although there's a lot of prominent names that I know of that are in that tournament, so that'll be pretty interesting. Let's go straight into Abyssent, and we're good to go. And I do like Abyssent because it has such a wide variety of resistances. It's really nice to be able to use. If you need to really use it, this thing's very nice. Gonna go with just Skadeen. Is that magic? It's magic defense. Okay, I had a feeling it was magic defense based on his team. This won't deal that much, and he won't do that much to me either. I'm gonna go for Flash and see how much this does. Okay, we can end up 3 KOing it, which isn't bad. That is not scary at all because I don't really care if this thing Gem Blasts me. I don't think you'd even use Gem Blast on a normal set. I think normally you go with Ice. You go with Storm Heal, Ice Prison, Snowball, Rust. Ice Prison being replaced for Wave Shot once it comes out, or you could technically go with Gem Blast if you wanted to hit stuff like Archer Paws a little harder. And it's gonna end up being a forfeit on my opponent's part. Let's hop to the next battle. Alright, and here we go into the next battle. This one's going to be fairly interesting because there's a Binotic, which does pretty much hardwall Abyssent. But we're going to be able to play around it pretty well, I'm hoping. We do have to pretty much play around the Binotic because it is very scary for me to have to deal with. Thornet Lead is most likely coming out here. What I can do is lead off with Waffles and get my hit and run off after he gets his off. Because that thing is definitely 100% going to outspeed me. So I'm going to go for my Grufflin Lead on hopefully his Thornet. It's actually his Klangatang, which is a very interesting switch. So I'm just going to go for the straight up for the hit and run. Immediately go for the hit and run. Now, I really wish... Someday I hope Abyssent gets Venom Bite. It would be very nice against its best wall in the game, being Moss. Because Moss does pretty much hard wall this thing. Although Ice Bite does do a decent chip, it's definitely not the best chip you'd want. That's not really the best switch, in my opinion, because you still take a bit of damage. I would still go for Tri-Elemental, just because you get a little bit more damage. I know this thing has Psycho Force, so I'm a little bit afraid of what I want to do here. I know it also has Gem Blast. How fast is it? That's the question. How fast is this thing? Not Corrosion, but I think that already leads me to Core Lizard. Core Lizard has 85. Oh, I thought it was way quicker. That's 85? I thought that thing was way quicker. Okay, that thing's actually kind of slow. That's good to know. I could go into this, hit and run on the Toxic Bomb, go into Spirit, and then go for an Aurora Flash. But then if the Binotic comes out, I'm not in the best position. So I'm going to go for hit and run. Toxic Bomb might come out here. If not, I bounce back Lingering Poison. Toxic Bomb, there it is. Okay, now I know he has Psycho Force, so I want to be wary of that. I'm going to go for an Aurora Flash, which might be able to take this thing out. He might just go into Binotic, though. Actually goes into this, which actually take a lot of chip for my Aurora Flash. And that's half health on the Clang. It's Crayon's Clang, which is a little irritating because I do not like dealing with Crayon's Clang. I'm just going to go to you. And I'm going to get a huge defensive boost to be able to completely wall this thing. Now, I know that this thing is never, ever staying in versus Skadeen. He's most likely going to be going into Binotic here. So, an option that I have is to go into maybe Archipos, who can Jealousy and then threaten something. Because my Jealousy will be able to do some good work, although Binotic does have Gem Blast. I'd rather get Jealousy up than Spirit Claws. So, or I could go into Waffles and possibly, I'm not sure what I want to do here. But I know that he knows I have Rust. He's definitely switching. Binotic seems like the most probable switch. I'm going to go into Waffles. Yeah, okay, it's probably Binotic. Yeah, Binotic, yeah, definitely the most probable switch is Binotic there. I'll double into Waffles here, and that doesn't matter because he's not a food type. It loses nothing for me there. Now, what I'm going to do here is go for a food fight, because it's just going to deal a lot of damage. He might go for his own Rust, thinking that he'll be able to get damage, but if I get damage on this thing, I'm good. Alright, he's definitely not going to take that. He's switching. How much does this do? Okay, that's not killing, but that's just more hit and run chip to completely negate his used crayons. I can hit and run here for free. It doesn't matter if he switches or not, because I hit and run here. Get a good chunk there, and then I go back into my Skadeen, which is going to be able to do some good work here. Try Elemental. I'm going to quad resist that, so that's beautiful. I took 8 damage. One thing I can do, actually, what I'm going to do here is go, he actually has Electro Slash now. I'm just going to go for the Rust and actually end up killing this thing. Because he might just go for the Electro Slash, thinking it's going to deal a lot of damage. And it's really going to deal about 30%, so about a quarter of my health. But that's still completely fine. He might be over-predicting a double, honestly. He might, I've doubled before, so he might just go for a slashing move. He goes into Binotic. Actually goes into his own Abyssent, which is not a bad play at all. We can't really wall this thing, so we're kind of in a bad spot. But we can go to our own Abyssent and kind of stop the walling process. And I'm Crayons, he doesn't seem to be Crayons, so I might actually be able to win this 1v1 in the long run. I'm Crayons, he is not, so I will win this 1v1 in the long run. And I get big damage on something. Although, my Flashing Strike is going to deal quite a lot to the Binotic. So I can Flashing here. That's good chip. This might take a little bit. He's actually Wrap, which is not very good for me, because that's negating my used crayons, and that helps him win this 1v1. Yeah, that's not good, because I'll Flashing Strike 4 more times, but I'll be really low by the time this is over. Actually, only 3 more, which is nice. But this is not ideal, because I'm going to be really, really low by the end of this, but I do not want to be this low. Actually, Wrap doesn't do damage over time. I thought it did damage over time. Guess not. This might actually, it doesn't crit, but that's okay. Okay, that's fine. It does, okay, I just didn't see the damage over time then. I just didn't see it. Alright, I'm gonna go for my, Rip Current here, just so I can take this thing out. It might go for its own Rip Current trying to kill me. I'm just gonna go Rip Current myself. Take out the Abyssent, which is very, very good. And in those situations, you don't really ever want to be in that situation where you're fighting a wall or you're fighting your own type, because usually own types can't do that much damage to each other. He actually ended up going to go into Thornet, which is kind of bad for me. I mean, I do have Voltitude, which does pretty much completely wall this thing, so I'm going to go into Voltitude here. You go for a Quick Sting, which is going to deal a little bit. It's not, I want to take a little bit less, but that's totally fine. I'm going to go for a hit and run here. He'll probably go for his own hit and run, but I might actually be able to outspeed it depending on what it is, but I don't think I'm going to outspeed it here. I'm just going to go for a hit and run, though, just so I can be good against the Clangatane that comes in here. He actually goes into... Okay. That's good, because that is good chip on that. I could go into Abyssent here and go for a big Flashing Strike damage, but I'd rather go into Archipos and then go for a Jealousy and start dealing some big damage. Alright. Yeah, I pretty much hit it with everything I got. I'm going to Jealousy here. Go for our D-Dance. That'll deal a little bit. Okay, that's good. It's not... Okay. This is kind of scary now, because I now need to hit it with a Spirit Claws, which I don't even think in general is going to be able to take it out. So let's go for a Spirit Claws. And that does, it is, okay, I should have realized that Stab is probably going to kill it. So now we're +1 Archipos, which is really nice because our coverage is really nice here. So let's see, I said dice like 7,000 times. Oh my god. And he's going to go into Incineroar. Okay. Okay, this is where this comes in. This is where we get to go into Abyssent, which is Chaotic Bolt. We are completely immune to it. Restore all of our health. Now, since we now get to Flashing Strike here just totally for free, we have no reason to not Flashing Strike here. Yeah, this is something that's incredible, is that Abyssent fully walls this thing. This is going to be a lot of damage regardless of even that switching in. As you can see, we still did a lot of damage. He's actually, what is that? It's not Rugged Edges. Is it the new thing? Wait, hold on. Does Thorna have a... Oh, it has Retaliate. That's what it is. Okay. Okay. We're not going to be staying in here at all. What I want to do is go back into Volta 2. Because I'm still fine to do this play. I'm completely fine to do this play. Hit and run. That's totally fine. Because that, in theory, gives me more momentum. Because this is the only hit and run user on the field. And so I get more momentum out of this. Because he's going to switch in... Yeah, he's going to switch in Klangatang here. And he might go for a Quick Strike, which is going to take a lot of damage on my... I eat your face. I'm going to go for a hit and run, though. Airstrike might have killed, but I'm not going for it there. Alright, I'm going to end up going... Electro Slash is the thing. I kind of want to go into Waffles. Oh, I could have Airstrike there on his Tri-Elemental. Oh, that would have been smart. I'm going to go into Waffles here. I think this is a decent idea. Let's see. I think it's going to work out in the end. I could have stayed in, honestly, because it would have been Spark, and I would have been able to absorb it, get +1. Then I'd be in a super good spot, being able to take this thing out. Then I'd be good to go with Voltatu from there. But this is fine either way, because I can now just go for Food Fight, which is going to be able to take this thing out. So let's go for a Food Fight. Gosh, someone got attacked by a feral cat back there. Okay, this is good because now we can take this thing out that is threatening Abyssent's existence. We'll take out a little bit of chip, but it's totally fine. We hit and run, and we get huge momentum on this. And now we did take some damage though, which is kind of sad, but that's totally fine because that can now had us go into Abyssent, and he can't go into Incineroar. And since we fully wall Incineroar with this, we're threatening out his last Doodle, which I think I forgot what it was. I totally forgot what it was. So. Core Lizard. Okay, so Core Lizard, we can just go into Lumaline. Lumaline comes in. Lingering Poison, we actually reflect that back, which is beautiful. So now this puts us in a good spot to just go for an Aurora Flash, which I don't think is going to take it out in this range. Definitely not. This will get us a little bit of chip. He's surprisingly not Psycho Force, probably because it's really expensive and no one wants to pay for it because it's expensive. I'll end up taking it out with this Aurora Flash. It'll be nice. It does get taken out there. Alright, so now we're gonna go. Now he's poisoned, which is nice. Now we get to go to Incineroar here. I mean, not Incineroar. We get to go to Abyssent here. We get to go straight into, oh my god, to Abyssent, which he's probably gonna go for a Chaotic Bolt or a Flame Rattle. That's totally fine because we're gonna take a little bit of damage. We actually got crit there, but that's totally fine. Our Flashing Strike won't take out Abyssent in this range, but it'll be okay. We won't be able to take it out here, but this did show that this really, never mind it killed. This shows that Abyssent really helped versus the Incineroar. Alright, that is a really good game. Really good game for the Abyssent. GG. Let's off the next battle. Alright, and here we go into the next battle. Now, this one is actually going to show us a few things about Abyssent. It is good and bad here. Mostly because it really helps us versus checking Meltama, but we also have Skidoo to deal with Meltama, so we're not really worried about that. It also helps us with priority versus Teruma, because in theory we could lose because of Reckless Charge, and this thing is not weak to Reckless Charge, nor is it weak to anything that Teruma has. Another thing here is that we have Abyssent's full wall, which is Moss, which might sound bad, but it actually helps us a lot, because here's the thing. If I have something that fully walls one of his Doodles, like, let's say, like, Teruma versus Archboss, right? Like, if this is Secret Ability Archboss, I completely wall Teruma, right? But I'm not. So I can if Teruma comes in, they would always say I'm going to go to Archboss every single time. So I can always just not go in Archboss and they double into something. Like, say that they wanted to threaten me, they would go into really nothing threatens Archboss here. It kind of just wins. But that's kind of what I'm talking about here, you know? I'm going to go into Volta 2 lead on the probably Mothra, I would assume, trying to get set up Lingering Poison. Actually, he's his own Volta 2. Okay, that's not bad. That's good for me. So what I'm going to do here is go for a hit and run. I probably, you know, he actually outspeeds. I get my hit and run off, though, which is nice. I don't really care that I'm vulnerable because that doesn't really matter in the long run. All right. Now, I get to go basically freely into Lumaline here, which baits in the moss, which I know this thing is not staying in. So what I can do is actually go back into Volta 2 on his hit and run, and I'm threatening the moss. Actually, he just airstrikes. Okay, this is a very interesting play. I mean, I don't want to take any more damage with Volta 2, so I'm just gone. He might not even have hit and run. Okay, now he has hit and run. He's probably just too powerful for me to comprehend, honestly. But this is good for me. I actually am down to food fight this. I'm down to food fight this. I'm gonna go for a food fight. He can shield bash me, but I won't take too much damage. I'll take a little bit, but I won't take too much. I'm gonna go for a food fight, which will get a good chip on this, unless it's assault vest, or not really assault vest. This is nice damage on Volta 2. Very, very nice damage on Volta 2. I'm gonna actually switch. I would love to switch into Volta 2. I'm just gonna go into Lumaline here, which is gonna resist that shockwave, which is very, very nice. All right, now what we're gonna do here is go for a Gem Blast just to hit this thing. He goes for an airstrike, which we actually are able to take out the Volta 2 here, which is very, very nice. Having Volta 2 dead is really nice for me because now he has no real pivot user on his team, which really helps me because now I don't have to be worrying about hit and run and taking chip on my Volta 2 having to switch in against it, right? All right, Meltamaw comes in now. I didn't get the +1 from that. I'm assuming he goes double bite here. I can go into Skadeen pretty much for free here, which I love Skadeen because it really helps versus these certain threats. Like, it really helps. So double bite comes out here, yep. He might get sharp fangs, but that's totally fine if that procs. I don't really mind if that procs. All right. Now, I'm going to go for, he's most likely going to be going, he's not staying in here at all. Unless he goes for Electro Bite, I think it's going to deal damage. I'm just going for Rust in case he goes for Electro Bite. He wouldn't go for Electro Bite, but I'm going to click Rust anyway. I'm just going to play Obvious for a little bit. Yeah, there's the moss. I knew that was coming in. So I'll Rust. Now, I know Sakura Blast is coming out here, but if he goes for even a water move, I don't really mind with Waffles. I don't really mind if he goes for that move. I'm fine with it. Sakura Blast comes out. He missed, which is actually pretty much best case scenario. Because now I get free pivot on pretty much anything. I'm just going to hit and run. Oh, he stayed in? Okay, interesting play on his part. I wouldn't have stayed in there if I was him. So he most likely went for a Water Bolt. I kind of want to go into this. I'm just going to go into this. Rust. Oh, she went for Rust. That's fine. That is completely fine. I airstrike now and take out Moss, which leaves Abyssent completely open to basically pop off this whole game. So I'll go for my airstrike. We're actually going to switch now. Going into Meltamaw, which is fine. Meltamaw is a totally fine switch here for me. I definitely outspeed this thing unless it's fast food. So I'll just go for hit and run. Okay, it's not fast food. So this thing most likely went for a fiery bite. So what I'm going to do obviously is go. I'm just going to go to Abyssent here. I'm gonna go make the Abyssent play. He's double bite actually. That's actually fine that it missed. Now I Icy Bite here. He's not staying in unless he goes for Electro. But even then I have Rip Current. He'd go to Moss here, and I can threaten the Moss with my Icy Bite, which is gonna deal enough damage to where my second Icy Bite can take it out. He actually goes into Mothra surprisingly, but I still hit that super effectively. Actually, I don't. Does Ice hit? No, it doesn't. Okay. I don't know how much speed Mothra has. Look at Mothra. How much speed has it got? I think it's like 70 something. It's actually 85. This thing's actually fairly quick. Okay, so we have Archboss in the back, which I'm not worried about. I'm not worried about losing. I just don't want to get lingering poison up because then something's poisoned and he can easily. I'm just gonna go to this, which I think is the safest play. But it does bounce back to lingering poison if it is a possible lingering. Okay, it's Venom, which is totally fine. This is totally fine. So I'm gonna Aurora Flash, although I'm pretty sure I end up dying here. Oh, actually, no, my Light Taffy ends up killing this thing, which is nice. So we end up killing the Mothra. That's why I think Light Taffy at some points can be more useful than Recovery, because it does catch some Mons off guard. Mons basically means, like, just in general, the creatures in these games. It actually goes into Stalagant, which is an okay play on his part. Okay, is it female or male? It's a female, so definitely a Psycho Force up there. What we can do... I don't think this outspeeds. I don't have Amber on this. Okay. Our main ranged wall is gonna go down. Okay. Okay, okay. I'm just gonna end up going for Gem Blast just for some chip. As much chip as I can possibly get on this thing. I get actually good chip there. If Psycho Force comes out, I am gonna go down there. That is completely fine. This does open up. I can actually go into Waffles. Which this thing's not gonna want to stay in versus my food fight, which actually I don't want to hit and run. I'm just gonna food fight. I'm gonna play this safe. Psycho Force, that's a little bit of chip. If that was true power, I was dead. Alright, down goes Stalagant, which is very, very nice. Very beautiful. Alright. We did lose one, which isn't very good, but that's alright. Alright. This is very dependent. I'm gonna go into Abyssent and go for another Icy Bite. So I can try to hit... Oh, I actually got a vulnerable there, which is kind of bad. But that's totally fine. I don't really need to be worried about that. Because I'll take a little bit of extra damage, sure. But it doesn't really matter in the long run because I'm just trying to kill the Moss right now. I'm going to go for an Icy Bite. Because he needs this alive. Actually... Oh, I'm dead. Darn it, man. Alright, that's okay. That's totally fine. This just makes me get to go into Volta 2. And I get to late game clean with Volta 2. So I'm going to go for my Airstrike. First off. Hello. There we go. Alright, down goes the Meltamaw, which is very nice. This also threatens the Moss, and we can also hit and run if things get too scary. Moss comes in, which we can completely threaten with our Airstrike, which is gonna kill this thing because there's no way Moss can live this. I mean, it's Moss. I mean, I know it's tanky, but it's not living that Airstrike. Down goes the Moss. Teruma comes in, which we can, yet again, do some good work against. I could tase it to stop attempts, but I'm just going to Airstrike and get, like, half health. Unless it's Assault Vest, which is totally... Okay, it's probably Assault Vest, but now he's vulnerable. Which is good for me. Because I need to stop this thing. Oh, no, it can really only Earth Lance this, can't it? It can really only Earth Lance this. Held items cannot be activated, which is nice. I'm going to go for a Jealousy, then double Ambush. Okay, hold on. There's a chance things could not go our way here. Pretty sure we're fine. I'm gonna ambush. Okay, there's a small chance I might have misplayed here. But no, I think we still have Skadeen, so we're good. But gosh, that was a little scary for a bit. I'm just gonna let him get all of his boosts so he can feel happiness for a bit. I mean, his Shield Bash will do good damage. Alright, I'm gonna stop entertaining it. Because I don't want to get up to +7. I forgot I wasn't Levitate. Okay. Now, we're gonna go for a food fight, of course. Because he's just gonna go for Shield Bash here. But it's fine. Because we have Skadeen to just rush this thing. And I know it also has Reckless Charge, but he's most likely going to be going for Shield Bash, which I don't think a +2 Shield Bash takes out Skadeen in this range. Because I have +1 melee defense. I'm going to go for my Rust to end off the game. Yeah, we're good. Rust takes out the Teruma. That's a GG. Good game. Good game. So, that actually pretty much worked. That worked out pretty well in the end, so that's probably gonna be a GG. Hope you guys did enjoy the video, and I actually had a lot of fun with Abyssent. I do plan on trying to run something similar to this in the tournament. It's one of the 3 teams I'm planning on trying out, and honestly, it seems pretty solid all around. I do like all of its synergies together, but yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see everyone in the next video. Bye bye.